What's up, everyone? This is Ryuka here, and today's the Ryuka Gaming Channel update for 2020. First off, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone, though depending on when this is uploaded, that is. And I'm pretty sure I made that clear in the community tab, but for those who missed out, I'm saying it here. Happy New Year's. Now that I got that out of the way, let's get into the update that involves with a lot of changes around the channel. It's going to be a lot of changes with content going forward. So for those of you who have been subscribed for a long time, thank you. I really do appreciate it. For those of you who are new, thank you. I do appreciate it. And for those who are just stopping by watching this update video, thanks. But anyways, some of you may have noticed, some of you may have not noticed, but for those who have noticed, you most likely seen that some of the playlists are gone from the channel. Some of you who have not noticed that, now you know. And there's most likely going to be more of that going into the coming months. I'm going to be removing, if not sooner or soon after this, rearranging a lot of content on the channel. And the reasons for this is because there's a few reasons, not too many though. One has to do with copyright. I've been pretty vocal in the past about this, and I cannot express enough how broken YouTube's copyright system is. I've shown proof of this in the past, and I had the time to look at these almost 8 pages, if not, it's actually almost 9 now, but it's ridiculous how many things are being claimed on my channel. Some of the content being claimed is very questionable, but I believe I'm within fair use with all of it. I disputed some of these claims, and all the disputes that I've disputed so far, but excuse me, you take down a couple of this, you win a couple of disputes, excuse me, and then more come along. So some of you may be wondering, well, why do you care about copyright if your channel isn't monetized? If I was to monetize my channel someday, I don't want all my stuff to be copyright claimed, especially false claims. And there's a lot of false claims on a lot of the content being claimed on my channel, in my opinion. So a lot of the stuff being claimed has to do with live streams, which is interesting to me. But most of the Batman Arkham playthroughs have been claimed by Warner Brothers Music Group, or WMG. They have claimed Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. It's ridiculous that, first off, that they're claiming all that. It's a live stream. I know I'm within fair use. I've disputed I've disputed most of these and won them, but then it's like they come back. This is clear abuse of the copyright system. And it's not the first time I've dealt with this. I mean, in the past, I've dealt with some really ridiculous copyright claims. I mean, I've been copyright claimed from AdRev, which is ridiculous. I've been copyright claimed from the Order 1886 was copyright claimed from Sony Music Group. So, yeah, I've dealt with quite a bit of copyright at this point, and I'm continuing to deal with this copyright nonsense. So what I'm deciding to do is I'm just most likely going to remove the Batman stuff, if not some of the playlists that I'm tired of dealing with these copyright claims. I'm just going to re-upload them onto my BitChute. For those who don't know, I have a BitChute now, and I've been uploading content there. So the content that you don't see here, you most likely will see there, but it will not be in a playlist. That's the downside. There's a limit to how many playlists you can have on a free account until you pay account, and there's still a limit even when you pay account how many playlists you can have. So in my opinion, it's just stupid. The playlist should be unlimited. That's just my opinion, but it's BitChute. They do what they want to do over there. So yeah, it's most likely going to be the content that I'm going to remove here is most likely going to be re-uploaded over there. And if y'all are interested in those playthroughs and whatnot, I will suggest checking out the link down below. Most likely it will be over there. If it's not here, it's going to be over there. I'm just tired of dealing with the copyright. I'm just really fed up with it. It's being abused on YouTube. YouTube doesn't care to fix it. It seems like they're just turning a blind eye to a lot of the problems on this platform and throwing all of it on the content creator. And it's whatever. They're just cleaning their hands and walking away. It's ridiculous. You know, they like, come here, come to YouTube, do all this stuff, and then we'll just throw you under the bus. That's what it looks like to me. But besides that, podcast. Some of you may be wondering, well, what the hell happened to the podcast? The podcast is totally gone. It's not no more on the channel. And the reasons for this is because I had a concern that YouTube's TOS, aka terms of service, was going to change and make things very difficult on just things you can say. For those who don't know, a while ago, one of iDubbbz's content cop videos were removed because of harassment, bullying, or whatever nonsense it was. It's ridiculous. And clearly, in my opinion, they wanted to make someone an example, and they used that video as an example. That's just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel kind of the same on that. So for me, I decided, even though it's a podcast, and some of the topics I've talked about in the podcast were spicy, and the language is adult oriented. So because of that, I felt that I just might as well remove it and not take the risk, because I don't know if they're going to consider what YouTube's going to consider that. They could just, consider X, Y, and Z, and that'll be it. So I uploaded those podcasts on Audiomack, the first 22, and it's going to stay on Audiomack. I'm not going to re-upload that anywhere else. I have no intentions right now to re-upload that anywhere else unless there's a demand for it. I mean, it has to be a high demand, not just 1 or 2 people or 10 people ask for it. I mean, it has to be quite a bit. And I'll get into shortly with other things. But anyways, there has to be quite a demand for that. That's all I'm trying to say. But I decided, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to bring back the podcast. And most likely, if I do decide at some point to bring back the podcast, whatever it's by the time this is uploaded or whatever the case may be, I will most likely create a separate channel called Ryuka Podcast. And it'll just be for the podcast, and it'll be on YouTube. And I will create a playlist on the BitChute where that podcast will be on. But this will not include the first 22. It'll be a fresh start, and it'll be kind of the same thing, pretty much talking about gaming and topics revolving around gaming, and most likely different topics and things like that that'll catch my attention. So yeah, the podcast will return. It just won't be on this channel, Ryuka Gaming, and there's a reason for this as well. Over time, as I was experimenting with content, for those who don't know or might have or most likely can tell, that I was, experimenting with content. I did podcasts, unboxings, opinion pieces here and there, live streams, playthroughs, just to see what stuck, what people would generate to more, my audience, what they like to see more of. And I wanted to get an idea of what that is. And the analytics only shows you so much, but not too much. So over time, I realized that a lot of people like seeing fighting game content here. And it's either the fighting game stuff or the unboxings. And then there was the podcast. But I felt like in some ways I was dividing the community here on the channel. And I didn't want to do that. But that's just me looking at it. So I figured, something, I will put the podcast in its own channel for people that just want the podcast. Will be in his own thing, and that's why I decided, just as I'm thinking about it, that's something I want to do. I'm just most likely gonna, the podcast is gonna be his own thing, but the unboxings will be in his own playlist. So in the future, there will be other unboxings, but it won't be as frequent as before. Space is an issue, and I also don't get collector's editions nilly-willy. In other words, I don't buy anything that just comes out like, oh my gosh, it's a collector's edition. It doesn't work that way. I usually get things that interest me or catch my attention or something that I really like. But I did mention fighting games, and I noticed that though I like fighting games myself and I really like to play fighting games, most likely going forward, I'm probably going to focus a lot on that kind of content here instead of focusing on other games. Yes, every now and then there'll be other games here, of course, on the channel. It's Radio Good Gaming. You know, if Resident Evil, something Resident Evil related comes out, most likely I'll play here. Or something that I that catches my attention that I feel like I want to play on the channel, I will most likely play here. But reflecting back to what I said earlier on about the copyright stuff and all that craziness, if this sort of continues, most likely I will most likely remove the playlist or the videos and put them up somewhere else. It's just ridiculous. When it comes to the copyright system, it's something being abused on YouTube, and it seems like YouTube is, in my opinion, though they're trying, it's not enough. The system is being abused, and these corporations are going to continue abusing it. Just is what it is, and it sucks. But that comes with being a content creator on YouTube, right? There's no way you're doing content here and you're not going to get hit with some sort of false claim of some sort. So, yeah, pretty big update, but I just wanted to inform y'all that that's what's going on with the channel going forward. Changing content. What else? Well, yeah, changing content. Pretty much. There will be live streams, just not as frequent, not as much. It really comes down to what I feel like live streaming and feedback as well. Feedback is always appreciated. Another thing though, talking about feedback, the Borderlands stuff. I have to mention Borderlands. I did a lot of Borderlands content on this channel. I feel I did anyways. Whether it's Borderlands, the Telltale series, and Borderlands 1, pre-sequel, and 2, not 3, but the ones I just mentioned, but not including 3. And the reasons for this is because there was feedback on people wanting to see this kind of content on the channel. But one thing is wanting, and another thing is uploading, and another thing is that there's barely traffic to it. But the channel isn't monetized. But it's kind of odd. People be like, hey, are you gonna play the next Borderlands? But there's really no one really here to view that content. And even after it's uploaded, I know people got things to do and people got lives and things like that. The traffic to that kind of content, at least on this channel anyways, it's pretty low. And the analytics, as I said before, a lot of traffic really comes in with the fighting game stuff. For those who are wondering and you want an example, I will suggest checking out the Samurai Showdown playlist. There's tons of views on that on the channel, and I appreciate everyone that has watched it. And I enjoy Samurai Showdown. For those who don't know, I've been a fan of that series for a long time, and that's why I play those games. But there's tons of views on that content because people, for what I'm assuming, really like watching those playthroughs, and whether they're watching it to understand better of the story of the characters or just curious of the gameplay or whatever the case may be, there's a lot of traffic generated to fighting game content. And it's not just Samurai Showdown. There's a lot of stuff fighting game wise. Some lower than others, but there's always traffic coming that way. But when it comes to Borderlands, Batman, other things like that, it's a mixed bag. It's kind of weird. There's traffic when I stream it, but then afterwards it's like flatline. So yeah, it doesn't mean that I won't, like I said before, won't play action adventure games or things like that again. It just means that going forward I have to really analyze, depending on what I've seen in the analytics, what people like to see on this channel. And as I said before, most likely going forward there's going to be a lot more fighting game content, and I just want y'all to be aware of that. My viewers, my subscribers, I just want y'all to be aware of that. That doesn't mean that there won't be no unboxings or nothing like that, but there'll be more fighting game stuff. But now that I mentioned the podcast a little bit while ago, another thing I forgot to mention, Also on the podcast, when I do decide to bring it back, if when or however that comes to be, most likely I'll be giving more of my own opinion pieces as well in those podcasts. I'm gonna slowly start pushing that out of the channel. I just want to leave this channel mainly focused on gaming and things like that, and leave my opinions and whatnot for the podcast stuff. I think it's going to be more fitting for that kind of content. That doesn't mean that I'm going to remove the opinion pieces I did here already, like some of the rants and things like that. No, that's going to stay. That's going to stay on this channel. That's a part of its history at this point. So I'm just going to leave it here unless YouTube decides to do something with it, of course. But I'm going to leave it here on this channel for the meantime, and just, it's just a part of its history. The channel's history, that is. So that's giving y'all a bit of a deep dive of my thoughts. Well, actually, I say that one loosely. A deep dive of what I'm planning to do with the channel. Sort of a deep dive. As for my thoughts, not too much of a deep dive. Just loosely. I say that loosely. I'm getting caught up in my thoughts. But these are things I kind of have planned and whatnot going forward. And it's going to be some interesting changes coming to the channel. But yeah. Let me know down below how y'all feel about this, or not, because sometimes I upload these kind of update videos and feedback it varies. But it's always good to get feedback, and let me know down below how y'all feel about some of these changes coming forward to the channel. Do y'all agree with me? Do y'all don't agree with me? It's nice to know, and it's nice to get some of that feedback for me to understand better what y'all like to see on this channel going forward, that is. As for the podcast, it's something sort of in the air, but not really. It's most likely going to get done, hopefully at some point, maybe, but see how that all works out. Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to check out the content, of course, but be aware this channel is for mature audiences. I cannot stress that out enough. And if you do like the content, of course, why not hit that subscribe button? And if not, well, thanks for giving my channel a shot anyways. And as always, this is Ryuka here saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and until next time, everyone, sayonara.